Okay, good. So now here I have this terminal. So what we are going to do today, let me start the project first. So I'm just moving to desktop, and here on desktop I'm going to create the project. So whenever we have to create a React project, first we need the command. So I believe you all have installed Node.js and npm, right? So if you want to check like Node.js installed or not, so you will just type node-v. So it will give you the version of Node.js. So if you are getting the output like this, 21.6 or maybe 20 point some version, right? Or maybe 19, the whatever version you are getting, but it verifies like a node installed in your system. Next thing is when you install node, two things automatically install. One thing is npm, which stands for node package manager, right? And npx, node package execute. So whenever we have to execute some command, we use npx. And whenever we have to install some packages, we use npm. So let it npx. So npx, if you have to create the React application, you will get multiple options, right? Whenever you are going to learn from somewhere, you will get multiple suggestions. Like you can create directly, you can create a React app with the help of Vite or maybe some other tools. I'm going to prefer the standard one, which says create React app and your application name. So suppose example, my application name is React with AI, right? So this is my application name. So here we are saying npx create React app with create React app React with AI. So if you just click enter, it will download some packages. So it will create some, you can say it will create a one folder on your desktop. Like as you can see here, I have this folder, and it will create, it will download a one template for you as a React application. So when it's going to download, what I'm doing here, I'm sharing this command with all of you guys in chat box. So if you want, you can just copy this command, paste it in your terminal if Node just already installed, and it will run. If Node not installed in your system, so what you can do, you will just go and search for Node.js download. So you will be on the first website, Node.js download. And from here, you can download, like for example, LTS and current. So what is the difference? Most of you are aware about it, but LTS stands for long-term support, and current is whatever beta version they have or whatever current version they have. So if we are developing some production application, which is going to be a live for other users, then we will always prefer LTS version. And if you're learning something new and you want to explore all the new features, you can prefer current. So as I already installed LTS version, based on your operating system, you can install like Windows installer, Mac installer, or source code. So you can download. These are the other features we have, right? I believe you all guys can download this. So after download, just install it. So whenever you complete the installation, this command will execute successfully. Right here you can see this command executed successfully, and it's created React with AI folder on my desktop, and this project is ready. Next thing we need is code editor. So I know most of you are aware about the code editors, and most of you used maybe Sublime, maybe some other tools, but we always prefer VS Code. So I'm going to open this VS Code. And now let's open this folder. So multiple possibilities we have to open the folder. Maybe we can directly click on this open. And when you click, you will go for desktop and open React with AI folder. Yes, we can trust on this. Here we have. Now, so this is my folder structure we have. Here we have 3 folders and 4 to 5 different files. So let me walk you through like one by one what are the importance we have. So let's start with node modules. So node modules is the package or the folder where we are holding, where we are storing all the required libraries, right? Whatever libraries we need to work on this React project, they will be inside this folder. So that's why it calls node modules. So this node module folder is common for all the applications. Maybe you are going to work on React, maybe you are going to work on Node.js or Express or some other frameworks, maybe Next or maybe Angular. This node modules folder will be there, right? And here, if you open, you will get multiple folders or multiple libraries. So we don't have to touch this. Public folder, we will come a little bit later. SRC folder, you can say a root of the project from where your project will start. Just a second, we are getting some messages. Okay, fine. So now here we have this source folder. So SRC stands for source folder. So in this source folder, we have all other required files. maybe app.cs, app.js. So most of the files not needed, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove all other unused files. So I'm going to delete this setup test.js, this report, this logo I don't want, right? This index.cs we want. App test, when we write unit test cases. So maybe in future we will plan one more class for this test cases with React.js, but not right now. And we can delete this index.cs file also, right? So I'm just going to delete these files because they are not important for us right now. Yeah, that's fine. After that, what we have to do, we have to check, we have to start our server. So if you go on top, you will get one option, terminal. If you click here, you will click on new terminal, you can open. So here we have this terminal. And whenever we have to start the server, start the local server of our React application or maybe all other JavaScript based application, you have to just run one command, npm start. Right? So when you run this command, it will start your React project. Right? Now, maybe you can ask like where this npm start commands came in this terminal, or why we have to write this specifically. So if you go on this package.json file, and even I missed that to explain you, this is the, you can say, a heart of the application or heart of the React application, where we are managing all the libraries. Like suppose, for example, in future, if you delete this node modules folder, then your application will stop. But if you have this package.json file, you can re-download or reinstall all the libraries and you can start your project again. So what we have to do here, if you can go through this package.json file, this is the name of the application, version, private, dependencies. What are the libraries we are using here? So when you create the folder or create the application, these libraries will install automatically. Majorly important, mainly used libraries are React, React DOM, and React scripts. These three packages we need to work on the React application. Apart from it, which you are saying npm start. So how this start comes here? So this starts comes here from scripts. What are the commands we can run? So suppose example, if we have to start local server, then we will just simply create this command, create this script start, and when you run this start, finally behind the scene, this command is going to execute React scripts start. So even if you can check here, if I just click npm start, you can see React scripts start is going to execute. Server is going to, you can say, starting the development server, and it will open here on my browser. But yeah, definitely we will get some errors. Why we are getting these errors? Because if you know, we deleted some files, but these some files are used somewhere, right? So where these files used? So you can see, you can even read these errors here. The one error is inside the app.js file, and what it says can't resolve logo.svg. And if you remember, we deleted this, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just delete this. Sorry, I'm going to just jump here, app.js file. What is this? I'll explain just a little bit later. Wait for a minute. I'm just deleting all the code. And here I'm just typing, welcome to TechSimPlus learnings, right? And here, this logo not required. So I'm just deleting this, right? Okay. Just a second, guys. Okay. Now, so we deleted this. Now, next error, we will receive index.js file. So in index.js file, we deleted this reporter battles. So just delete this. And apart from it, just remove this code. Okay. Okay, and one more thing, we deleted index.css file also. So as we was getting three errors, so we removed three things. One is logo, second one is our battle files, and third one is index.css. After doing this, if you refresh, we are getting one more issue, logo. Okay, so we not saved this app.js file. So let me save this. And here again, you can see my server is working perfectly fine. You can say compiled successfully and backpacked compiled successfully. So if you go for the browser, you will get this, welcome to TechSimPlus learnings. So this is just our beginning. So we at least created what we can say, our first React application where we have the simple text, welcome to TechSimPlus learnings. Till this point, if anyone have any doubt, let me know. Otherwise, we will go for next. Okay, guys. So let me summarize everything again, right? So your speed is 180. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for this amazing feedback. Okay, so let me start. Let me summarize the things again, right, and explain is okay. So what we did basically, we did just one thing. First thing we did, we create a React application. So whenever we have to work on React.Js or any other frameworks, first we have to create the application, or you can say a React application. So how we can create it? So multiple ways we have. One I suggested, like you can just simply say npx create react app, npx create -react -app in your application name, whatever name you want to put, whatever name you like suppose example we say react app, right? Or maybe you want to say my react app, right? So whatever you love, you can write the name of the application, and when you click enter, it will create the one folder on your desktop. Here you can see like it's created this one new my react app, and it will create, or it will download some packages in this folder and create a one common structure of your application, right? What are the tools we need, what are the libraries we need to work on the React.js, all things will be there, right? So this is the first step whenever we have to work on the React application. So just wait for a second, let it start, or let it complete. So when it will complete, next stage is we have to open this folder in some editors, or some code editors. So whatever code editors you love, you can prefer. Maybe you have VS Code, or maybe you have Sublime Text. They all are same. Just differences, the functionality, the use cases, and all the things, like how much you are comfortable to use any code editor. So I prefer to use VS Code. So that's why we have this VS Code. And in this code, in this editor, we are going to just open this folder. So as you can see, this folder created right now. Let me open this folder, my React app. So let's just drag and drop this folder here. So when you just drop it here, this folder will open, and here you have all the required files, or all the created files or folders here. So if you go inside the src folder, okay, so before going to any folder, let's start the server, right? So we'll say simply npm start. This is the basically simple command, npm start. So whenever you have to start the server, simple write npm start, and when we click enter, it will execute some commands. It will start your development server. As you can see, starting the development server. And you can see this application created. So this is the default React template we have, right? And even you can notice here, it says edit src app.js and save to reload. So whenever we have to update, because this is not the final application which we want to develop, we want to develop something else. So what we have to do, we have to simply go for inside the src folder and go for app.js file. So here we have this app.js file. And in this app.js file, we have a lot of code. So we don't have to worry about it. Like, so for example, let's delete all the things, all the tags. You know, this is plain HTML. We have div tag, and inside this div tag, we have class we are passing. And here's suppose example, we are saying h2, and inside h2, whatever you want, you can write. Like, so for example, we are saying welcome to React class. So when you write this, you can see whenever you save your file, your server will restart, right? Don't worry about these warnings, right? Leave it for time being, right? Whenever you save the file, server will restart. And if you go here on the browser, you will get updated code, whatever you did, whatever changes you made on your code on the app.js file. So this is the basic thing. Now let's understand how React application start and how React application work. So if you can see here, we have multiple files. So basically your application start from index.js file. So if you go for the index.js file, this index.js file have some of the code, and it's going to render this, or it's going to return this app component. So what is this app component? I'll explain. Just wait for a minute. And some other codes, like, so you can note here, or you can see, write this, read this comment. This comment is whenever you have to optimize the application or something else. So it's not required right now. So what we are going to do here, we are going to just delete unused code. So suppose you don't want to use this code, so just delete it from here. And when you don't want, you have to just delete this line of the code, right? And even we don't want this index.css file because it's not using anywhere right now. So let's delete this. Your application is working perfectly fine still, right? If you go for the browser, you will get your application is working perfectly fine. Now, here we don't want these files. These files is created for testing or some other use. So I'm just deleting these files. I don't want logo.svg because we are not using in our application this file. So I'm just deleting this logo.svg. Apart from it, we are not going to write the test cases. So as I told you, if we have to write some test cases, this is the different thing we will plan in future to learn this. So I'm just going to delete this, and I'm going to delete this index.css file. So if we delete this, because we don't want these files, so I'm just going to move it to trash. You will get this error. Error is because in app.js file, we are not using logo, but we imported this. So we have to just remove this, import logo from logo.svg. And if you can see here, my server is working perfectly fine. There is no error and there is no warning, right? So that was the first step we did earlier, right? So now we have only three files: app.css, app.js, and index.js. Even within some time, we will delete this app.css also, because we will create our own CSS file, right? So now if you go for the browser, you will get, we have this welcome to React class. So till this point we did, right? And next we are going to create our some components, and we are going to customize this application, right? Okay, so now if everything is fine, just let me know. Anyone have any doubt or any question till this point? Otherwise we can go next. And I'll explain what is this export default app. Just wait for a second. Yeah, thanks Nitesh. Everything is fine. Okay, Syed. Anyone else, guys? Anyone have any question, any doubt? Okay, thanks, Visa. Thanks all of you guys, right? Okay, so let's start. Now, what we want to develop, as I already explained, we want to develop this beautiful application. So if we have to develop this application, we have some stages, right? So what all other tools we are going to use? So before this, let's understand. This background, this is my body, right? So here we have to create one container or one, okay, but before that, I don't think so you downloaded this, not right? I shared one link with all of you guys, this link, dev.express.com uploads. So you have to download this zip. So just paste this link. I'm sharing again one more time with all of you. So just click on this link. You will download one zip folder. Yes, Shivam. This is responsive. We will make it responsive also, right? Don't worry about it. So here you have to download this. I'm just downloading in downloads folder. So when you successfully download, you have to unzip. So maybe you have unzip some applications you can unzip. So you will get this folder assets. So you will not get assets 2, you will get assets, right? And even we want, so I already have this assets folder in my download, so that's why it's not making change. So I'm just going to copy this folder and going to paste in my application. So I'm just going to drag and drop. So I'm just going to copy and paste it inside src folder, right? Not outside the src folder. We need this assets folder inside src, or you can say source folder. So when you drag and drop, it will be here, this assets folder. So if you can see this assets folder inside my src folder, and in this assets folder, you will get two folders. One is images and second one is styles. So I already created style sheets for all of you guys. So today we are not going to create the css files, or we are not going to understand like like we are not going to deep dive into the css. Majorly we are going to focus on the React components and other libraries. So that's why I already shared the css file, whatever css we are going to use here, right? Okay, Now, okay, one thing I want to know, I just want to suggest you one thing. Like, I will not suggest like you have to work parallelly. I suggest like just what you can say, have a look and understand the logic, understand the concept, whatever concept we are going to use, right? Whatever logic we are going to use. Because after this class, you will get the recording also for this complete session. You will get the code, complete code, whatever code we will create today, you will get it, right? Then you can do some, you can say hands-on. And even in future also, if you have any problem or if you face any doubt, there is no problem, like you can't connect us, right? Anytime you can just let us know. We will plan to some explanation for you, right? So there is not a big deal. So will it fine for everyone? Yeah, Chetan, nothing as such, right? So if this folder is not here, I'm assuming I'm just deleting this folder. Let's delete this, right? I want assets folder inside my src folder, right? So what we will go for our downloads folder here. And so for example, I'm using maybe I'm not able to drag and drop. So let's open this folder, open your application folder. So here you have a source folder. Open this source folder. So in the source folder, we have 3 files. I want this assets folder. So just copy this folder and paste it here. So this assets folder will be here. So when you go for the VS Code, you will get this assets folder inside your source folder, right? This is. Now let's start. Yeah, thanks, Chetan. Yes, sure, Anil. We are focusing that we will go on a lot of detailed things, right? But definitely this is basic things, and we have to focus on all of you, right? Okay. So now let's go for the app.js file. So now what we are going to do, let's let me a little bit zoom out. Okay, fine. So let's understand one thing first, right? So this app.js file. So this is one of my component in React. Basically, if you understand, React is a concept of, you can say, component architecture we have. So what means of component? Component means, let's understand in this way, where we have our browser. Yeah, this one, this application. So we can divide this application in multiple components. Component means the pieces of your UI. You can understand in this way, pieces of your UI. So for example, this whole application, this is my main component. Inside this white card, this white, you can say box, big box, right? This is one of my component. Inside this left side area, this area can be one of my component. And inside this right side, a big card, or you can say a children card, this can be one of my, again, one component. So React.js follows the component architecture. So the profit of this architecture is we can reuse it. What it means of reuse, like suppose I want to create a button and I want to use this button on 100 times or 100 different pages. So we don't have to create the same button. We don't have to write the same code again and again to use the 100 different pages, right? So that's why we use the React component architecture. So what we have to do, simply understand this app is one of my component. And as I got the one question, this export default app, I'll just explain. So what I'm planning, let's create first our own component, then maybe you can understand a little bit better. So what we are going to do, inside src folder, I'm creating one more folder is components. There's components, you can give any name, it doesn't matter, right? Then inside component folder, let's create one file. Maybe suppose, for example, we are saying I'm going to create a one file. Let's, okay, so for example, uh, slider.js. Maybe in future we will use this file for our slider, right? So slider.js. Now what we have to do, Component is nothing but a just function. So simply the simple JavaScript function. So when you use function keyword and you will define the name, or maybe in arrow function, simply say const the function name, whatever function name we want to define. So for example, I'm saying slider equals to parenthesis, arrow, and curly braces. So this is the architecture of arrow function, and we are storing this arrow function in my slider. And now here we have to do nothing. Simply say return. Component is a normal JavaScript function which is going to return some HTML or some UI code. Right? Simply understand in this way, right? Because this is, suppose for example, you are saying return what you want to show in this slider. So I want to show, suppose example, I want to show in my h3 tag, I want to show this is slider code, like for example. So what we are saying, this is my function which is going to return simple plain HTML code, right? Now, here we created this file, slider.js file, and inside this slider.js file, we have this function, slider function. Now, problem is how we can, because understand one thing, your application can start from this app file. Even your application can start from this index.js file, right? So whenever you start the server will first look to the index.js file. And inside the index.js file, whatever code you are going to return, it's going to show on your browser. Now, here we are going to return app. How we are returning this app, I'll explain, just wait. Now, inside this app, we are returning this welcome to React classes. But point is my slider.js file or is my slider component connected to my app.js file or app component? This is again one of my component, app component, which is returning. So whatever JavaScript function you will get, which is returning some UI code or some HTML code, it's called React component. Simply understand in this way. So here we are saying this app is also one of my app component. Now, this slider.js is not connected to my app.js file. So how we have to connect? We have to export it. Suppose you understand, when other countries can import something, when India is going to export something, right? Or when India can import something from other countries, when other countries are going to export something. Same thing. Slider can be used inside .app.js file or inside this app component when slider will be exported from this file. When this slider.js file will allow to other to use it. So what we will say, we want to export it. So we'll simply say export default. Why we are saying default? Because from this file, we want to return only one file, right? Oh, sorry, one component. In coming times, we will see, like if we are going to return multiple components, then what we will use. But we will say export default. This is the standard two keywords we have in React and your component name. So we are saying slider. So what we are saying? We are saying, I want to export this slider from this slider.js file. That's it. Now, if we are exporting something, other file can import something. Simply, India is going to export something, other countries is going to import it. So simply we will say, I want to import. So we will say import. What I want to import? Slider. So we will say slider from. From where we want to import this? Okay, fine. You are saying you want to import slider, but from where? So we will say, we will pass the path. From components folder, we have one file and file name is slider. So here we are saying slider file is going to export slider component and F file is going to import the slider component from my slider file. This name should be same as this name. Right now you can understand in this way, right? The slider name should be same as this name, right? And now this slider is my component. And whenever we say that I want to use component, I want to use component. No, yeah, this is the one most thing I'm getting one question. Export default slider is the name of the file. No, this slider is not name of the file. So for example, let's do in this way. Greet. My file name is greet.js. And just wait, it will fail, no problem. Now inside the greet.js, we have this component name slider. It can be also any name, whatever you love. And I'm exporting the slider. So only we have to focus like the slider name should be the same of the component name. For time you can understand this way, even it's also not compulsory. But now slider, because we are just learning right now. So import slider from file name. So my file name is greet. So from greet file, we are importing this slider. So this slider is the component name, and this component's greet is the name of the file. Is it clear, Anil, for you also? Right? Okay. Now, so here we have this slider. Now, how we can use it? Simply, we have to say nothing. This slider is going to work as a tag. Simple. As you have div tag, as you have h2 tag, simply slider is also going to work as a tag for us. So here we will say slider, open and close. And I believe you all guys aware about at least this much of HTML. Like this is my self-closing tag. Simply, right? As you used BR. So BR is the self-closing tag. Same thing. If we are not passing any content as any child content, we will use it as a self-closing tag. So this slider is going to work as a self-closing tag. And now we connected the slider to my greet.js file and to my slider component. So if you go for the browser, open your code, you will get welcome to React class. And this is slider code. So now, whenever you make any change in your slider code, like for example, component. So you will go for the browser, you will get updated, right? So React.js has one more feature is hot reloading, right? So whenever you are going to make the changes, you don't have to refresh your browser. It will automatically update your code. Till this point, guys, anyone have any doubt? Like how we are connecting to the component and how we are creating our own component? Anyone have any doubt? Please let me know. Everyone have clear, guys? I believe like till this point, everything is clear for all. At any point, guys, you will get any doubt, let me know, right? Don't wait like when I'll ask, then on that time you will ask the question. Whenever you have any doubt, just drop a message, drop your chat here. I'll just have a look. Sir, function name and the file name should be the same. No, it's not compulsory. As I just explained, who is, yeah, Nikita. It's not same. Function name can be a different, file name can be a different, right? So it's not a it should not be same, or not saying it should not be same. It's not compulsory that it should be same, right? Yeah. One thing is common, one thing is most important, you have to know. This function name should not start from a small letter. They should be capital letter, right? This should not be small. And same thing here also, you can't import like this. If you import like this slider and if you use like this, right, it will not support, it will not work, right? So this is the thing, this name should be capital always, right? So this thing you have to remember, nothing as such. Here you can see this is not going to render. If you can see, we imported the slider, but the code is not going to render, or render means going to show to the user. And if you go here, it will be visible for all of you, right? So this is the common thing we have to know. But apart from it, component name can be any and file name can be any, and they should not be same. It's not compulsory, right? Okay. Okay. Next thing, when you completed this, one more thing. So for example, I says greet.js file, and here I'm saying we have multiple members. So for example, hello, we will say Anil, maybe, right? We are saying hello Anil. So now if you get here, hello Anil. But now what I want to do, I want to say hello for multiple persons. So for example, apart from Anil, I want to say hello with it. So to write it like this, right? But I want to say hello for multiple members at one line, right? It means I don't want like hello with it. Then when hello with it is active, then hello Anil is not there, right? So I want to say hello for multiple members at one shot. So what we have to do? One possibility you all can suggest. Sir, let's create two different files. So here we will say the name greet user one, greet user two. But this is not the way, right? So what we can say, we have one more concept, most interesting concept, and one most important interview question also, like props. Props is nothing but properties, right? Like for example, here you can say class name you are passing. So what this class name? Class name is a props for this div tag. Same thing can we do here? Can we do like in slider? Can we pass like this? Name equals to Pratik. Can we pass this? Yes, we can pass this. So these are the props. Whenever we are talking in terms of HTML codes, they are attributes. But when we are talking about in terms of React.Js or React component, they called props. Props is nothing but properties, right? So whenever we are passing, or these are the arguments. So what we have to do, if you go for the slider component, here inside the argument you will receive. So you have to just say props, nothing as such, props, and do one thing. Let's log this. What we will see, we'll see console.log of props, and let's check what we are getting in this props. Go for the browser, refresh this. So just inspect, and inspect tool, go for console. You will get this object. You are getting one object, name and Pratik. So why we are getting this name? Because if you go for the app.js file, here you are passing attribute name is name and value of this attribute is Pratik. So for example, you are saying age, and inside this age you are passing 28 in curly braces, right? Not directly, or maybe in a string also you can pass. So we are saying age equals to 28, and if you go here, you will get age 28. So the attribute name will work as a key of the object, and value, or the out value, will work as a value of the object, right? So here, one thing we can understand, props always will have object type, right? So whenever you are going to greet.js file, this props is an object type. So for example, I want to print only name. So what we will say, we'll say simply props dot name, right? So if you print this, you're getting undefined. Why we are getting undefined? The reason is because from app.js, we are not passing name. What we are passing? We are passing age. Lavina, why it's coming twice, right? I'll explain. Yeah, I was expecting this question from some of one, right? Okay, slider is, right? So let's pass this name, and name is maybe Anil for time being, right? We are saying name is Anil. So what we are doing here, we are getting this Anil now, right? So one thing understand, this Anil, I don't want to show on the console. Where I want to show? After hello. Here we are getting with it. But what I want to show? Anil I want to show. It means whatever name we will pass as an argument from my main component to my another component, I want to show this. So it's very simple. If I talk you, like before this, let's understand in this way. So for example, we have one variable, even we don't have to use where, let age equals to, or suppose for example, we will say name equals to Anil, right? And if we have this name, and apart from with it, what I'm saying, name, hello name. But how my JavaScript or how my HTML code will understand this name is not the data, name is the variable. How it will understand, right? Because if you refresh your page right now, you will get hello name. But what I don't want name. I want the value of this name variable, right? So whenever we have to pass any dynamic data, just understand this is the simple fixed concept. You don't have to think like it will change anywhere. It's not going to change anywhere. Whenever you are saying I want to use this dynamic variable, you will just apply curly braces. Simply just pack the variable name inside the curly braces. When you pack the variable inside the curly braces, it will not reflect same, it will reflect the value of the variable. So if you can see here, we have hello Anil. Now, apart from name, because this name is not from here, again, it's not hard coded. So what we will say? We will say from the props, whatever name we have, just print it. So now if you can see, I'm getting hello Anil. Reason is because from my app.js file, I'm passing name Anil. Suppose I'll pass name Pratik. So here we have this hello Pratik. Now, in this way, if I ask you, I want to say hello for multiple members. I want to say hello for Anil. I want to say hello for Pratik. I want to say hello for Pratik, Nikita, and some other members. What we will do? Simply copy this code, paste it multiple times, and change the value of name only. So for example, here I'm saying Anil. Here I'm saying Nikita and some other members, right? So if you can refresh your browser, you will get, we are getting 3 times hello and the name of the member, right? So this is my dynamic component. And that's why this concept called reusable component in React.js. Why I'm saying reusable? You created this grid.js file, you created this slider component one time, but you are using this component n number of times. You don't have to recreate again and again for different users or for different members. So this is the whole logic of reusable component in React.js. Is it clear till this point? Anyone have any doubt? If anyone have any doubt till this point, let me know. Okay, perfectly fine. Okay, one thing I missed. Please let me know why it is rendering twice. Okay, why it's rendering twice? Because right now we are on the debug mode. So what happens if you go at the index.js file? Here we have react.strict mode, right? So whenever we have strict mode, so we are just going to like safer side. We are playing with the safer side. There should not be any bug. There should not be any problem, right? So that's just rendering two times. Just do one thing. Just remove this. Simply pack in this way, do nothing, right? So these called blank tags, or you can say fragments. Now if you see, and now if I go for grid.js, and if you say console.log of props, can you see this? I'm getting only one time. Three times I'm getting. Reason is because three times we are calling the same component grid.js file. Three times we are calling with name. But every time you can see we have different data, and only one time it's going to render, not two times, right? And you can see here also where it's rendering, where it's coming from, grid.js line number 2. This is the thing. Is it clear? Lavina, is it clear for you? Okay. Okay, great, thanks. Now let's understand one more concept, then we'll directly jump for the project, because this is the most important concept we have to know, right? Which is, okay, I'm not telling the name of the concept, okay? If you are familiar with React.js, then good. If not, so let's start. What I'm doing here, I'm creating one button. I'm creating one button. Click me. I'm creating a button. Click me. If you go for the browser, you will get this click me. Let's make it a little bit beautiful. So just pass class name. One more thing we have to understand. Here we are not passing class. If you are comes from plain HTML, CSS background, then you think like, sir, why we are not passing only class? Why we are passing class name, right? Because whenever we are using what we can say React.js, inside the React.js classes can be is not be the defined thing, or is not be the used thing. Whenever we have to define the pass the class, we have to use the class name. It's basically class name only, right? Not class. If you pass class, it will work. I'm not saying it will not work, but it will give you the warning, right? So that's a source example. I'm just passing class here. You can see all the properties applied here, but sorry, class, right? But if you go for, and here you will see warnings also, you can see invalid DOM property class. Do you mean class name, right? So React always understand class name, not class, right? So that's the main thing we have. Okay, I hope this is the one thing I want to explain. Okay, so let's understand. So if you're saying class name, and class name in CSS, if you go for the assets, styles, you will go for style.css. This is the CSS we already created and provided to you, right? Here you will get multiple classes. One class name is btn sign in button, right? So I'm just going to copy this name, sign in button, right? Any name can be there, and I'm just passing here and refresh. It's not going to impact. Why it's not going to impact, right? Creating a CSS is not a big deal. You all guys can create and put it anywhere. Main thing is linking the CSS, right? Whenever you are going to work on plain HTML CSS, you have to link the file of the CSS file, right? So we not linked here. So first we have to link this CSS file. So what we have to do, simply you can see here, this is the way to link any CSS file. Suppose app.css. So this app.css file exists here, right? And inside this app.css file, we have this one class app. So that's why we are using this class name here like this. So I have to link my class also, or my CSS also. So we'll say import, and import from where? So from assets, from styles, and from styles, which file I want to import? Styles.css. So we'll say style.css. If you go here, you will get this big button, right? Because the width of this button is 100%, right? We are getting it. So let's make it a little bit change. Go for app.css, not app.css, style.css, and width here we have 100%, make 300 pixel for time being. So here we have this button, click me, right? That's not a big deal. Now point, what I want to implement. I want to implement, whenever we click on this button, I want to log something here, right? What I want to log, let me tell you. So just understand this thing. If you will be able to understand this concept, the coming project will be easy for all of you. It will not be the problem then. So for example, we have one variable const count equals to 0. Const count equals to 0. Now, what I want, whenever we click on this button, this count should increase and should give me the output. Like for example, I'm clicking one time, so it will be 1, then 2, then 3, then n, right? So how we can do this? Let's create one function which will change the value of count. So what we will do, simply we will say const on button click equals to, this is again one of my function. I believe everyone is clear for this, right? I'm just creating a one function. And what I'll do, I'll say count equals to count plus 1. And here we'll just log the value of count. Right? I believe everything is fine, but there's problem. You can understand. This count is will give the error. Reason is because here the variable type is const. So what we will make it? Let we will make it, right? So we are saying let count equals to 0 and count equals to count plus 1, then console.log of count. Now, when we have to call this function, so when we click on this button, so what we will do, we will say on click equals to, right? But now, one most important thing you have to understand. The on click, this is not your plain HTML CSS. Yeah, what is the difference between const and let? Okay, I'll explain, just wait. Button on click, what it will be on click, this is fine. But when you are working on HTML CSS, plain HTML CSS, then it will be like this. But when you are working with React, it should be camel case. So C should be capital, right? So we are saying on click like this. And the function name is on button click. So what we want, whenever we click on this button, we will just call this function on button click, right? I believe everything is clear for everyone. Now let's click on this button. I'm getting 1, it's printed here. Click again, I'm getting 2. Click again, 3, 4, and on, and so on, right? So this is how we are just going to click on this button and going to increase the value of count. Till this point, anyone have any doubt, like in terms of using the button name, in terms of using the on click variable name, attribute name, or any doubt if you have? Clear for everyone? I'm expecting the answer from all of you guys. Okay, good, Anil, good, Sweta. Yeah, fine. Now let's understand what I want you. Yeah, thank you so much, all of you. Now, what I want, the value of count. I told you, right? Like whenever we are thinking, like I want to print this value of the variable. So what we will say? We'll say Apart from saying click me, we will say you clicked me count times. Now, how we will make this count as a variable, not as a data, just wrap it inside the curly braces. So what I'm saying, if you go for the variable, I'm getting you clicked me 0 times. But when we click on this button, what it will happen? It will say you clicked me 1 times, you clicked me 2 times, you clicked me so on, right? Right? So now let's do. If we click on you clicked me 1, but it's not updated here. You click me 2, you click me 3. Now what's happening? Why it's not updating? Even it should update, because when we are changing the value of count, it should be here. It should print me like this. You clicked me 0 times, you clicked me 1, you clicked me 2. Why it's not updating? This is the most important concept in React.js we are going to discuss right now, right? The reason is, understand in this way. We created this function and say like, yeah, we are saying this to React.js, like we have this function, React, we have this function, just execute whatever you have and take a return from this. So when it's going to return means send the data to my browser, understand in this way. And we call it render, right? Render in terms of JavaScript, terms of what we call it, render. So it's just return the code. It means we return from this app function. Now, whatever changes we are going to make here, it will not impact on this component. Reason is because whatever changes you made here, the return function not aware. Suppose example, right now we have 200 students, right? Now some of you will return from this class, some of you will leave the class maybe, right? Then you will not be aware like after you're leaving what all other things we are going to learn, what all other things we are going to work. So in that case, what you have to do, you have to rejoin it. You have to come here again, see the changes, whatever changes we made in our application, and again update it in your mind. The same thing we have to do here also. So it means the overall logic we have to understand is whenever we are making the changes in this count variable, we have to re-render this or re-return this. If this component will return again and again, your data will update on the browser. So what we can do? We should have some possibilities. So yes, in React, we have amazing possibilities, and that's called state management, right? So what we have to do, simply very easy thing. What we have to do here, we have to say import React from React. We have to just import React from React. And simply what we will do, this is my normal variable. This is my normal variable. But what we will do, we will just convert this normal variable into a state variable. Yes, you're right? Use a state. So what we will do, we will simply say const some variable name. So I'm just passing count equals to use state. Use state is coming from React dot use state. And now default value is 0. So what we are saying, just execute this from React. Inside the React, you have this use state method. Inside the React, we have this use state method. And when this method will execute, it will return two things for us. It will return two things for us. So, and the two things will be the array. So inside this array, we'll get two things. So we'll just handle in this way, array. First thing will be count, and second thing will be set count. Now let's understand. Let me explain one more time. Okay. This React.useState, when you will execute, it will return one array. And in this array, you will get two values, right? So what are the two values? One is count, and the one is the value, whatever value you are passing here. Suppose I'm passing here 1. So if you see, suppose do nothing, just go for the browser, you are getting you clicked me 1 times. Why? Because this count variable holds the value, whatever actual value, whatever default value you are passing. Suppose I'm passing 10. So if you pass 10 in this function will return two things. First thing is the value of the actual value, and second will be the function. We will understand. We will come to this point later. But this is my count, and this count we are representing here. You clicked me count times. So if you refresh, you are getting you clicked me 10 times. Why I'm getting this 10 times? Reason is because this use state have 10. Now let's pass by default 0. Next thing what we are getting, set count. What set count is? Set count is a function. If you ask me, the type of the set count is function, and we are storing this function in this variable set count. The name can be anything. This can be also the name. So for example, you will say update count. right? Whatever you will love, you can use. But standard coding will say, or like standard developers, they use set count, right? So set the variable name count. So we are saying, and you can notice here, we are using everywhere, we are using camel casing. This count is the normal variable name, set count. So here we have again capital C, set count. So what we will do, apart from updating in this way, count equals to count plus 1, simply say set count of count plus 1. That's it. So what we are saying, whenever we click on this on button, click, we want to set the value. We want to set the value of this count variable. And with what value you want to set? Whatever current value you have in this count variable, just update it by 1. So you will say set count plus 1. So if you refresh the page, you have this, you clicked me 0 times. And now see the magic thing. You clicked me 1 times, you clicked me 2 times, you clicked me 3 times. Why it's happening? Because whenever you are saying set count, the set count method do 2 things. Behind the scenes, it's going to do 2 things. First thing, it will update the value of this count variable. So whenever previous value was 1, 1 plus 1, 2. So the actual value will be the count of this 2. So it will update the value of this count variable. And next thing will do the render. It will rereturn this function again, rereturn this component, rereturn this HTML code again. So when it will rereturn, on that time count value updated. So when count value updated, it will say, okay, you clicked me count times. So previously it was 0, but you updated count plus 1 means 1. So now it will be, you clicked me 1 times. Again, you click on the button. Previously it was 1. Again, count plus 1 means 2. And it's updated your count variable with value 2. And now here you have you clicked me 2 times. So this is state management thing in React.js. And this is most important thing. Whenever you are updating the data on code side and you want to update the data parallelly on the browser side, you have to use the state variables, not default or not direct variables. So that's why these calls state variables. So whenever you are declaring the variable directly, they are just direct variable, count equals to something. And whenever we are declaring the variable with the help of use state of React, they called state variable. And this use state called React hook. Inside the React, we are getting this hook. Hook means just connecting the things, right? Hook. So we have this React use state. Till this point, anyone have any doubt, any question, whatever we learned till now, please let me know. Okay, good, Deepak. Okay, good. It's written only return count of as well for HTML code render. Right now you can understand like this full HTML code is going to render again. Nikita, because use state comes from inside the React. So that's why we are saying React.use state of 0. 0 means the value, but use state is the function which is coming from React. So that's why we are saying React.use state. Okay. One possibility also we have, like if you don't want to use React.use state, you can import directly. Can we use user state only? Yes, we can use Resi directly. Just apart from importing like React.use state, simply after React apply comma and curly braces, then use state. So you don't want to use React, just remove it. Just simply say import user state from React. And here directly type like this, use state. So here we have const count, set count, use state of 0 like this. So the application will work same. Right? Okay, good. Fine. So these are the 2 things we have to understand. So 2 things we learned right now. One thing is props. and one thing is state, right? So here we are managing the state, and here previously we was passing the props with the help of props to the different component. Okay, fine. Let's start our project development thing, right? That till this point everything is fine. So now I'm just deleting this complete code here, deleting this on button click, or what we will do. Okay, so I'm just deleting all the things. Even say in this way, I'm deleting complete file, right? And create your component from scratch. We will simply say const app equals to, and here we will say export default app. Now, what this app is going to return? It's going to return the first main div container. And what class name we will use here? So here, inside the style.css file, you will get first class name container. So we'll just use the class name container. And if you go for the browser, it's not affected. Reason is because we not connected, we not linked our CSS file. Import /assets styles style.css. Here we have this background, right? So we have this container class, and inside the container class, what we are using, we have just background color, some properties, width and height, and some display flags property, justify content, align item, and all. And we have this background image or background content here, right? Now, next, what we have to use after the container, we need internal box. Like if you go for the application, we need this internal box, this white box, right? So what we will do inside the div container, we will use one more div, and here we will pass box. So here we have this box, right? I believe till this point everything is clear. So we already created these classes names, right? So that's why I already shared these class names with all of you guys. We have container and we have this box. So this box has some bit, max bit, what can be the max bit of this, height, then background color, border radius, box shadow, and all. So this is the first thing. Now inside this box, what we need, so we need two things. If you can see our application, so this is my left container and this is my right container. So what we will do, inside box, we will create two div elements. So you can say two div child elements. First thing is left box and second thing is right box. So what we will do, we will say div class name left box, and second thing we will do right box. So if you go for the browser, go for our application, you will get this. This is my left container and this is my right container. So right container is already created. So if you can go for the CSS file again, so this is my left box, which says width. Whatever width we have, we will use only 45%, right? And if you go for the right box, here you will get one more class, which is, let's search, right box. So here it will take 55%. So over 100%, left box is going to take 45% and right box is going to take 55% width. So that's why we have this left box and right box. I believe till this point clear for everyone, right? I don't think so. Anyone have any doubt till this point? Now, inside this left box, what we want, we have to understand inside this left box, what all other things we want. So if you can go for our application, we need these things. AI React, we want this text, this logo, we want this capital text, this subtitle, then we want this file name, and we want this drag and drop functionality, which is most important thing we want. And we will learn this, how we can develop this drag and drop functionality, right? Okay. So now, We will use class name. And inside this class name, which class name can we use student CSS instead of? We can use anything, Anil, right? It's depend up to you, right? You can use a styled module also if you are aware like how style module work, right? But this is just basic understanding. But here we are using plain CSS. So inside this left box, we have one more container, which is inner left box. And inside this inner left box, we are going to do anything, whatever we want to do. So for example, so here we are saying div class name, and inside this class name will be logo, because first we want to use logo, and inside this logo we will use image tag. So we'll say image, and inside image we will say src equals to the path of the file. So in React, whenever we have to use logo or whenever we have to use any image, we have to import it. So what we will say, we'll say simply import logo. So whatever variable name you can use, you can pass. So import logo from where? So if you go for the images, inside this you will get react ai.png. This file is inside the assets folder. So what we will do here we will say /assets/image/ react ai.png, and here we will pass only this logo file, and we have to pass alt also. It's not compulsory thing, but if you pass, it will be good, logo. And finally here we have to say h4 ai react. That's it. If you go for browser, check your application, you will get this react ai logo and title. This is the thing. Till this point, anyone have any doubt? These are the classes we already created: inner left logo, then logo, and the left box. So firstly, we created two boxes, left box and right box. Inside this left box, I want to manage the whole content center of the left box. So that's why we have created one more class, inner left box, right? And here we have this, inside this left box, we have all the content like logo, then other things we are going to create here. Guys, till this point, anyone have any doubt or any question? Okay. Next thing, based on our application, what we want to develop is this title and subtitle. These two things we want. So simply what we have to do, we will use again one more div tag, and here we will use class name, and class name is heading. We already created one class name heading, and inside class name we will pass two things. One thing is h2 and next thing is h6. So in h2, what I want to show, I want to show AI powered fun with Reacts. So let's just copy and paste it here. And next thing, let's play together. That's it. So here we have this class name heading. So this heading class, what this heading class do? This heading class is just says margin, right? From bottom and top, one thing. And h2, so this is the font weight we are passing for h2, and for h6, we are passing the font size. That's simple thing we have. So if you go for the app.js and if you go for the browser, you will get this AI powered fun with React. This is the thing where we created heading of the application. Now, most important thing we are going to work right now, right? This drag and drop. So what you can do, you can click and select the file as well. And second thing, you can drag and drop of the file and it will work same as it. Right? So how we can do this? So here we are going to use one library, one package. Let me show you. Go for Google and search for React drop zone. When you search for React drop zone, it will guide you the drag and drop concept. So simply you have to just install this library and just simply write this code, beautiful code, and it will work and it will give you the output. You can go for the examples. Here we have this examples, basic examples. You will get this drag and drop functionality. So when you click here, it will choose the file. And even if you drag this, it will again choose your file, right? So what we have to do, simply go for the React drop zone back and just install this. So what we are going to do, just copy this line, npm install save React drop zone, which is the first library we are going to use for our application, like how to drop your files. So simply go for, open a second terminal and paste this line, npm install. I'm just going to save, you can remove it also. It's not compulsory thing. And just click enter, npm install drop zone. When it's installing, let's do one thing. Apart from using everything here, let's create one component inside components folder, and here we will say the file name is dropzone.js, right? So in this file, we'll create our all drop zone concept, all functions, and all other required things, right? So what we have to do, simply create a one function, or the function name can be maybe anything you can define. I'm saying file drop zone. I'm saying const file drop zone, and here we will export it. Simply concept, whenever you are creating the component, let's export first. So export default file drop zone. That's it. Now, how we have to use? So do nothing, just go for a documentation and read it, what they are saying, right? So we are not going to use hooks. We are going to use simple component. This is what this is. This is just import the drop zone from React drop zone library and copy and paste this component, or code this, paste this code. So I'm just going to copy this drop zone like this. And I'm just going to copy this drop zone code and going to return from my file drop zone function like this. Simple. So if you go for the browser, you will get nothing. The reason is because this drop zone, file drop zone, you created, but we have to link this with our app.js file. So what we will do, simply we will import, as I told you, we have to import our file, import our components. So we are saying import file drop zone from components and from drop zone. That's it. Simple thing we have to, we don't have to do anything as such, like which we can't understand. Simply after this, we have to simply say file drop zone. Okay, sharing the library link. Just wait. I'm sharing the library link. Okay, shared. Yes, Chetan. Drop zone I'm sharing. I'm explaining again. So now what we are doing, we are simply, like, till now, just understand, we created one component, file drop zone, and here just for a time being, like, remove it and simply say h2 drop your file here. That's it. Now, so here we have file drop zone component. This component is saying return, and return drop your file here, and we are just going to export this file drop zone component. Inside my app.js file, I'm just linking this file drop zone component like this. So we are saying file drop zone and just linked it. If you go for the browser, you will get this drop your file here. But now we don't want this title. We want a drop location where we can drag and drop our file. So what we have to do, simply if you go for your library, you will get, they provide you some code, drop zone, and inside the drop zone on drag, what you have to do, right? And this is some other code. So what we will do, simply copy this code, drop zone, and don't think so much right now. And just apart from returning to this h2 code, just return this drop zone component. Do nothing. Now, if you go for the browser, go for your application, you will get here, drag and drop some files here, or click to the select file. So if you click here, you will get this pop-up is going to open. And if you choose any file, maybe I'm going to choose any image file, it's selected. But we have to now customize it. We have to make it a little bit beautiful. Like it should be visual like this drag and drop, whenever you are going to hover, the border color is going to change, this background color, the border color and all. So what we will do, simply do nothing, go for your code. Here we have this section, here we have this section, we have to just customize this section which is reflecting for us. So what we will do, we already created one class, so we'll say just class name equals to, class name is file. Let's go for style.css, search for it. So here you will get this file drop zone. Go for update.js, go for component, and your class name will be file drop zone, right? So this is your one class name. Inside this, what we will do, we have this drag and drop. So if you go for your browser, you will get this drag and drop, and if you hover, you will get this border, right? But I want this text should be a little bit small, right? And some other text I want. What text I want? I want upload your file here. So what we will do, we will just change this text. And we will say, upload your file here. Okay. Now, if you go for the browser, go for an application, you will get it. Upload your file here. And even if you click on this, pop-up open, right? So if you just click on any file, face image.png, it will be selected. But we not created any handler. We not created anything like with the help of this, we can show the file name, but this beautiful drag and drop content is ready. Till this point, anyone have any doubt, guys? Okay, clear for everyone, I believe. Okay, so this is my app.js file. In app.js file, guys, we did nothing. We just created this component, file drop zone component. And inside this file drop zone component, we are doing everything, whatever we have till now, right? So what I'm doing here, I'm just going to customize it a little bit, right? So apart from doing this, what we are going to do, I'm going to wrap this file inside one div container, because this is just text. What this text represents like what you want to show here, what you want to show inside this drag and drop component, like upload your file here, how you want to customize, you want to use any icon, any image, whatever you want, you can use it here. So what we are doing here, guys, we are just going to wrap this p tag inside one text, right? And here, inside one container, and inside this we will pass one class name. Class name will be file drop zone text, file drop zone text. And now if you go for the browser, you will get this file drop zone text change little bit, right? The color is also shadow, or like we can say the gray color we have, and the size of the text is also a little bit small. Next thing, because the aim of this creating the project is to explain you lot of new things in React available, right? So one thing we learned here is drag and drop. Second thing we are going to discuss, like if you can see in my application, we have this beautiful icon, upload icon. So how you can connect any icon, or how you can use different type of icons in your React application. Let's understand. Very simple thing we have. Simply go for Google, search for React Lucid icons. So you will be on this first link, Lucid React. If you go here, you will get the installation process. So what we are using npm. So just copy this command, npm install Lucid React. Go for an application, install this. I'm sharing this command also with all of you guys, even not command. I'm sharing the link of this icon also. So you all guys can use it. Okay. Now, after this, do one thing. Go here on icons. So here you have multiple icons. Which icon you want to use? I want to use upload icon. So just search for upload. You will get multiple beautiful icons. Suppose you want to use this one, cloud upload, right? Yes, we are going to send the cloud image, right? I'm using this icon in my project, right? But suppose you want to use this one, cloud upload. So just click here. You will click, just scroll, make it full screen. You will get the options in which coding or in which programming language you want to use, HTML, React, Vue and all. I want to use in React. So just copy this line, import cloud upload from Lucid React. So what we will do, we will just import it like this. And after this, do simply before p tag, just say cloud upload and just pass some style. So I'm just passing the style inside the curly braces. We are saying color and which color I want to pass. So has any color you want to pass, you can pass. I'm passing BD, gray color, little bit black gray color, right? So if you go for the browser and see the application, you will get this beautiful icon just side of the title. If you want to pass some margin between the text and icon, you can just simply say margin right, and how much? 10 will be sufficient. So you have this. So this is your complete drag and drop. So the two things we learned right now, one thing is how we can use the drag and drop functionality in our React application, right? And second thing is like the icon, how we can add icons in our application. So multiple ways we have. You can use font awesome, you can use some other maybe material UI icons, right? You can use ant design icons, multiple icons you can use. Here I just suggested you to use Lucid React icons. They are very useful. And second thing, really easiest possibility we have to use any type of icons in our React application as compared of others. Even if you are going to work with Font Awesome, you have to install multiple libraries, multiple chain of libraries. Then you will be able to use, you can say Font Awesome icons. Okay? So this is the two things. Till this point, anyone have any doubt? Does anyone have any question, any doubt till this point, or we can move to next? देखो, PNPM is like suppose for example, whenever we have to install the packages, cloud global wise, like what happens, like whenever you are running what we can say npm command, right? So it's going to install all your packages here in node modules folder, right? But whenever you are going to running the command with the help of pnpm, right, performance something it's called, right? So it's going to install your packages on globally. So you can use these packages from what you can say from all other applications. But most of the time we not prefer. And second thing is npm is a little bit faster than all others, right? And what we can say, and I don't think so like anyone is suggesting to use pnpm. Yes, we have to use npm. Apart from npm, like if you want to use a little bit more faster, then you can prefer yarn. Yarn is also the good one. Difference between npm and yarn is like whenever you are going to install the npm take care only the current package which you are installing. So if it's failing somewhere, it will fail. But whenever you are using yarn, it's I think 6 times faster than npm, first thing. And second thing is like yarn is going to take care all other installed packages, right? These are the things. And the simple difference between const and let is const is constant. if you learned a basic C language also, in there also you used const. Const means the value of the variable you don't want to change in future, right? And let is something which you can store, but you want to change the value also. Do you have one more possibility in JavaScript is where? So where is again, if you ask me like where and let difference, so where is a global variable and let is your scope variable. So we are not going to discuss so much about the difference between it, right? Because this is not the place to discuss about JavaScript. But yeah, this is the basic thing. When you want to change the data, you can use let. When you don't want to value of the variable, you will use const. Simple difference we have. Yes, this is the app.js. Chetan, which part you want to highlight in app.js? Any specific part of the app.js you want to focus? Okay, fine. So I believe everything is clear for everyone, right? There is no one who have any doubt. Can we go next? Okay, now let's jump. We will do a little bit faster, right? Because we have to cover a lot of things, but till now we have covered till this point only, right? Now, what we want to do next. So if you can notice here, whenever we select any file, first important thing is I want to show the name of the file. Right? So for example, click open. This name should be here, but this name is not visible here for us, right? So what we have to do that we can show the name here. Okay, simple. Do one thing. Go for file drop zone, right? And inside the drop zone, what I want, you can see here on drop, when you successfully drop, right? So in drop zone file, some doubt. Yeah, Chetan, please ask what doubt you have in drop zone. Yeah, tell me quickly. Cloud upload is just an icon, Chetan, right? It's not a part of drop zone, right? We are just using it. So if you can see here, this cloud upload is just an icon which is coming from Lucid React icon, right? So you can say Lucid React. From it, we are importing cloud upload. And in this cloud upload, we are just using it. And this is the style we are passing, nothing as such. Okay, perfectly fine. So let's do it a little bit faster. So you can see we have on drop. So what I'm doing here, on drop, what's happening? We need the file. So let's do one thing. Just remove this and apply curly braces. And what I want to just check like what we have in accepted files. So we'll say console.log of accepted files, right? Whatever file you selected. The simple thing is accepted file means whatever file you selected. Okay, first thing. Yeah, enough chart we have our laptop. Now, if you go for the browser, and if you inspect console, refresh it, we have nothing. But now let's select and select any file. We have this one array of file, and in this file, we have complete details of the file, like path and all other things, name, then last modified, path of the file, and all other details we have. So what I want from this array, we need to print the name of the file only. So what we will do, accepted files, we will say of zero. If we zero index, we have one file, and inside this, we will say dot name. That's it. So if you refresh, if you select again one file, we have this. Or maybe select any image file like this one, right? So we have this. image file name. So the complete file name we are receiving here. Now, what I want to print this file name on my front end, on my browser. So what we will do, simply go on the app.js file. And here I'm creating two state variables. You can understand in this way. I'm creating two state variables here. First variable we are creating to maintain our files, right? So what we will do, simply we will say const values and set values equals to use state. And in this use state, we will pass object. As previously we was passing count variable. Here I'm passing object. And in this object, we will have one value image. And by default, it's null. It means in this image variable, we have nothing. But what I want to update this value of this image. So what we will do, here we will create one function, const on file change equals to, and here we will receive the file, actual file. So we'll say file, and here what we will do, we will simply say that we want to update the file of the file which we selected. So we will say set values of curly braces, and here we will use spread operator of values, and here we will say not file, we will say image, and image will be file. Now let me explain one more time what we are saying. We are saying whenever we call this function, so let's understand when we call. So we are saying on file change, and on file change, where we will call it inside my drop zone component. So I'm just passing this on file change function as a props to my file drop zone component, and go here and just use props. And what we will do, apart from doing the log, we will say props dot on file change of accepted files of 0. Now let me explain one more time what happening here. We have created one variable value and set values. In this values, what we are doing here, guys, we are just simply saying like we want to store one thing, image, and by default image is null. Now we have this on file change. We created one function. Whenever we call this function, we will update the value of image variable inside the values. Now, how we will update, what will be the data to update this? Data will be file. So we are saying on file change of file, and we are saying set value. And inside the set value, what I want to do, I want to update this whole object. But in this object, what we have image. So what we will say, suppose for example, apart from image, we have one more thing. One more thing is we suppose, for example, service type. So what we will say, service type, and service type by default say phase detection, right? What are the service types? Service types is nothing but, if you go for the application, here we have this two things we are maintaining here before clicking this button. One thing is your selected file. Second thing is type of the service, which service you want to use, object detection, phase detection, service detection. So by default in our application, what we are saying, phase detection. We will use this in next some minutes, right? So now, whatever value you have in your values, keep it same. Just update the value of image. So what will be the value of image? The file which we pass here. And now what we will do with the help of this file? So simply we will say, we will pass this on file change function in my file drop zone. So if you go here, whenever we make any changes in the file, we'll pass this file here to this function on file change. And when this function will called, this file will pass to the argument to this function, and finally we'll update the value of this file. This is, so now simply very simple thing we have now. If you want to print the name of the file, whatever file you are selecting, I want to print the name of this file. So what we will do, simply do nothing, just use curly braces, and even apart from curly braces, just use span tag. Inside span tag, you simply say file, and inside this file, what we will say, curly braces of values dot image dot name, right? But now, sometime possible that image will not be here, image will be null. So you will not get name, here. So what we will do, we will apply the condition. Like if we have values dot image, then only return this. So we are saying values.image. If we have this image, return this React element file and print this name. Now, if you go for browser, refresh, you have nothing. But suppose I'm selecting one file. So I'm selecting this file, open. I'm getting this file name. So this is the whole logic we have, right? If you want to change the color of the text and all, you can pass. So for example, I want to change the color of this text. Here we'll simply say style, and here we will say color, and color will be dark blue. That's it. So if you refresh, you will get it. You can see, open, you have this file name. Even if you want to drag and drop, so just suppose, for example, I want to drop this file, my image.png. I'll just drag, drop, and select it. Here you have this file, my image.png. So this is my complete drag and drop functionality inside my React application. Does anyone have any doubt till now? As we will go for the next component. Next thing, we want to create this one. But before that, if you have anyone have any doubt, just let me know. Okay, thank you so much. Now let's see what we did. I'll explain one more time, right? Let me complete the things again, then I'll explain you again one more time. After file drop zone, we have to do nothing. Simply, we have to create one container, because I want these three things. These three things you can say: object detection, celebrity detection, field detection. So if you can understand in terms of HTML, just understand in this way, like we need one container. Inside this container, we need three containers, right? And in each container, we need two things. One thing is my radio button item, and second thing is this my object. So what we will do, simply we will say div, we will apply class name, and class name will be service container. Service container. And inside this container, we need multiple items. How many items we need? Three items. So we'll say div class name service item. And three items we want, right? Because we know three things we want in our application. Now, inside each item, what do you want? So let's delete this, because everything will be the same. Inside each item, what I want one input. And in this input, what we will pass? We will pass name. So name will be, suppose, for example, service, right? And second thing, we will pass label. And in this label, what we will pass? If we say in this label, what we will pass? Simply we'll pass nothing. We'll pass the name of the service, which service you are using here. So for example, I'm saying object detection. That's it. If you go for the browser in your application, you will get this object detection and all, right? But you can see I'm getting this checkbox and this border, right? Okay, let's see why we are getting this. What we are missing here? Just a second, guys. Let me check why it's not coming. First thing we missed is type radio. How we can miss this? This is my radio button. Now you can see here. Now, right? But this is not checked because we have to maintain this, how it will be checked. But let's create same thing again 3 times. So let's create 2, 3. Now, what will be the name? Service, fine, same, type radio, fine. Now, apart from object detection, what I want? I want field detection. And third thing, what I want? Celebrity detection. You go here, you have these 3 items, but they are not checked. Reason is, yeah, Sivam, thanks. I'm just getting your message right now, right? Input type radio, right? Yeah, thanks. Now, what we have to do next? We have to simply maintain. Like, so for example, this input is checked. So we will say checked. If it's checked, this input checked, right? If you suppose, for example, if you delete here, and if you say this radio is checked, So again, face detection is checked, right? So how we will manage? Simply say one thing, do nothing. Just simply say checked equals to true or false. So how it will true? When values dot service type equals to. This is my face detection. So service type will be face detection. So here we will say service type will be face detection. Same thing, just copy this checkbox and paste it in all three places. Now, what we have to do here, we are saying checked value to service type, face detection. All three places we have face detection, but what I want, three different services we have. So here we will say object detection, and here we will say celebrity detection. Celebrity detection. That's it. Now, what have happened? Like if we can understand here in this way, like suppose for example, the value of this service type is face detection. That's why this checkbox is selected. Suppose I'll say this value is not face detection, this value is object detection. So here my object detection will be checked. Now, what we have to do, we have to change this. Whenever we click on this label or click on this checkbox, the type of the service will change. When type of the service will change, the checkbox will automatically change. So what we have to do, simply do nothing. Very simple. Create a const, if one more function on service type changed equals to GED. Now, here we'll pass the variable type, whatever service type we have. And here we'll simply copy the same thing, set values. Here we'll copy the same thing, set values. And apart from image, what we will do, we will use service type, and service type will be type. That's it. Now, what we have to do, very simple thing, just copy this function name and call on every click. So what we have to do on input, we have to simply say on change. On change, what I want to pass, I want to call the same function on service type changed. And which service type name you want to pass, we will say object detection. Just copy this, save this, and paste it on every input. Now we have to just simply change the service type name face detection. Service type name will be celebrity detection. If you go and refresh on a browser, now if you click face detection, celebrity detection, and object detection, so it's going to work like this. Okay, till this point everything is clear, guys? Like here what we did, we just created one variable service type by default object detection, and we created one function on service type changed. The name is CHANG. Just replace all places. That's it. So now if you refresh, you will get it like this. Okay. Anyone have any doubt till now? Anyone have any other doubt? Sanya, it's not like a multiple days of classes like where we can offer you a break. You can take based on your choice, 2 minutes or 3 minute break, but I'm going to continue, yeah, because we have to do a lot of things, right? Okay. Anyone else have any other doubt? Let me know. Everything is clear, as I believe. Input part, repeat again, sir. Okay. But apart from it, anything, everything is clear for everyone. I believe this. Okay. That's fine. Then simple understand. We need these three items or three different radio buttons, right? Object detection, page detection, celebrity detection. So what we did here, we simply created a one container, service container, because inside this container, these three items exist. And inside this service container, we have three items. You can see service item, service item, service item. These three service items we have. In each service item, as I told you, we need two things. One thing is this radio button, and one thing is this label, object detection. So what we did, we just inside this service item, we created two things, input and label. So this input is type radio, name service. So this name should be common. So for example, you have 10 radio buttons. So if they all are linked, then the name should be common for all 10 radio buttons. I believe everyone is clear for this. Now type is radio, name is service. Now check when this radio button we checked. So when values.service type equals to object detection, on that time only this will be checked, else not, else it will be false. So if this condition match, it will return true. True means checked true, else false. Same thing is happening with others. So by default service type is object detection, right? Now, if you refresh the page, by default what you will get, object detection selected. But now, okay. Now, after that, what happens? Whenever you click on this, what I want, whenever we change the radio button value, what we have to do? So we are saying on change. We are calling one function name is on service type change. So when you call this, we are calling this method set values. And in the set value, what we are doing? Doing nothing. Simply, we are just changing the type of the service. हम से service की type को change कर रहे हैं. Nothing as such, right? So by default service का जो भी type था हमारे पास service का type था object detection. Now we are just changing the type of the service. So here we are type will be updated type. आप जो भी type function में pass करेंगे वही type आपको यहाँ पर receive होगा. So the same thing we are passing on service type change here. So we have three radio buttons, we have three services. So for each service we need three different values. So we are calling this same function for three different places. We are changing only one thing is the value of the function, the argument of the function. So we are passing object detection here. Here we are passing face detection, and next same thing we are passing here in celebrity detection. So whenever it will change, it will pass. And when it will pass, it will update the value. And when value will update, your radio button will be checked. This is the whole concept we are using here. I believe everything is clear till now, right? Next jump for next. What do you want to next? We have this React, we have this three drop downs. We want this only button, see the magic. Then your UI will ready. Then after that, we will create this UI, the sidebar UI quickly. Then we will go next. So now see the magic. So how we can create this button? Very simple. Just we need one button. So after our main container, service container, we will go next and we'll simply say button. And in this button, what class name we have to pass? Simply you have to pass class name. And by mistake, I created a different class name, SIGN sign button, right? If you want, you can go for instance, check sign button and say magic button, right? Magic button. App.js change the class name magic button. So if you go for a browser, you will get this magic button. There is no text. So let's pass see the magic. We have this beautiful text. I believe till this point, everything is clear. So this is the one side we created right now. This is the left side. Right side is very, very simple thing, right? In right side, we have to, what we have to do? Simply, we need two things. One thing is this card, this image card. And next thing is this title and these radio buttons, or not radio buttons, basically bullet points, right? So three things we want. So what we will do, simply go here, application, and do nothing. What we can do, we will create just one component inside the component, and component name will be slider.js, right? And grid.js not used anywhere, so just delete this. We don't want, move to trash. Slider.js. And what we will do in this slider.js, simple, just we have to create this slider. So I'm just doing const carousel, we are saying simply say slider equals to and we will say export default slider, and do nothing. Simple, just link this slider to your app.js file. So where will be slider? Inside the right box. That's it. Now we don't have to come again to the app.js file till now. We have to go for the slider.js, and whatever changes we want to make, we have to make in my slider.js. So what we want? This image, this text, and these 3 bullet points. So we want 2 things. So inside this, we want only 2 things. One thing is image and one thing is title and bullet points. So what we will do, go here. Here we have nothing. Go for the slider component. And from here, we will start to return the things. So what we will do, return, as we have created inner left box. Again, we have one more box or one more class. We'll say class inner right box. Inside this inner right box, we will create 2 things. One thing we want image. There is no class name, just want image. So I'm just using image tag. And inside this image tag, what we will do, we will use class name, and class name will also be image. And next thing is src. What will the src? So we have to import the image, like as we imported, if you can see here, for logo also. For logo, we imported this image like logo. Not like this. This one, same thing we have to do here. So on slider, I'm saying image 1. And what will be this image 1? Here we have to change the path, dot slash, we have to go outside image 1. Same thing, we want 2 more images, image 2 and image 3. So the image 2 and image 3, right? And now for time being, I'm just saying image 1. Now go for your browser, see. Do you this beautiful image? Yes, we have this beautiful image, right? And we have some animation also. So this animation we created with the help of keyframes and with the help of CSS keyframes, right? So this animation already linked to my class image. So if you want to see, let me show you one more time. Style.css image. So here we have this animation, show image. So we created this animation, show image. And what the show image is doing, this image is showing, like by default, when your application start, on that time, the scale of the value should be 0.5. But after some time, it should be 1. 1 means 100%. 0.5 means 50%. If you pass, so for example, if you pass 0, let's change it and refresh. You see this? From 0 to complete, it's happening, right? So for example, you want to create zoom out effect. So let's do this, make it 1.5, from 1.5 to 1. Now refresh this like this. So whatever animation you want to create, you have to just simply change the value of scale, right? So I'm just changing the value of scale. Now next thing is, you can notice how much time it's going to take from 1.5 to 1, or to come from 1.5 to 1. So where it's happening, here we are passing 1 second. It should take 1 second to complete from 0 to 100%. If you pass 3 seconds, it's going to take 3 seconds to be a 1.5 to 1 scale value, right? Like this. So let's change it 1. So that's happening here inside my image class. Now, most important thing we have to understand. After this image, what I want? Title and these bullet points. So simply what we have to do, after this image, we need one more div container. And inside this div container, I want simply h2 tag. And here, suppose for example, what I want to write. Let's go for the browser. So for first image, I want to write spot faces, ages, and emotions. So let's copy and paste it here. Yes, agree, right? So we have this. So if you go for the browser, your application, you will get this spot ages, frank, genders, and emotions. Now, next thing is what I want, these bullet points, bottom bullet point. So what we will do nothing. Simply go here after this h2 tag. Okay, I did one mistake. We need two divs inside this. One div will contain the h2 and one div will contain my bullet points, right? So what we will do here, we will say class, and class will be bullets. And inside these bullets, what we will do, we will use the span tag. And how many span tag you want? 3 span tags you want, right? So these will work as a bullet points for you. Like you can see this. We have these 3 bullet points here, and we have this title here, right? Now, one thing, if you can notice here, we have this image animation, we don't have this text animation. The reason is because we missed to apply one class here, and the class name for this is text WRAP wrap, and we missed the class for h2 also class, and this class will be text. That's it. Now, can you see this? We have these two beautiful things. One animation we are getting in this image, and one typing animation, you can say, one sliding animation you are getting in this title, or in this, you can say, yeah, in this image title. Now, last thing is pending is these bullet points. They have to be, one bullet point should be active. How we can make these bullet point active? So we already created one class. So if you pass here class name active active, so this bullet point is active. So now if you change the class name, active bullet point will change. Now this is my UI design. Now let's jump for the functional design. What I want to implement, whenever we click on these bullet points, these images are going to change. You can notice, right? Title is going to change, you can notice, and active bullet point is going to notice. The same concept, guys, we used within these radio buttons. Same concept we have to use for these bullet points. Here we have 3 radio buttons. Whatever radio button is active, we are saying active, else is inactive. Same thing, whatever bullet point is active, we will show it active, else inactive. So what we will do, simply go for the code, do nothing. Here we will create one state variable. Here we are saying, like, we will create one state variable const slide id, and we will say set slide id equals to use state, which is come from React, and by default slide id is 0. Do nothing, simply say one thing. What we'll do apart from it, do one more thing, create one more function, change slide id equals to this one. And what we will do, set slide id, and with what value? Here we will pass id, and here we will say set slide id with slide id, change, right? Okay, change slide id. Now what we have to do, guys, simply what's understand, we have 3 images. So can we do like this, like if slide id equals to 1, then I want to show this image 1, right? Now same thing, copy this, slide id 2, sorry, it should be start from 0, slide id 0, slide id 1, slide id 2. Same thing, slide 0 we will show slide image 1, else we will show image 2, else we will show image 3. That's it. Now it's saying the warning, reason is they are waiting for alt. So anything, whatever you love, you can pass. Okay, that's it. Now see one thing. If you go here on your application, you will get this first image, right? Now what I'm doing, I'm just changing the ID of the slide 0 to 1. Let's see. Not changing. Let's see why you're not changing. What we have in image 2, let's check. Image 2, we have this one, image 2.png, 3.png. Okay. Oh, sorry, this is my live running application, guys. And we have to check here. Okay, so this is slide 2. So if slide ID is 2, then it will be here. Oh, we was checking on in the working image. Okay, now slide ID is 0, image is 0. If slide ID is 2, then image is 2, right? So like this. But now understand one thing. We have to change it by clicking on this. Why? Clicking on this. So how much simple it is. Like just call this function on click. So what we will do, simply we will say on click, call this function, and when we click by first bullet point, we will pass first and just delete this, second and third. And here we will say 0, 1 and 2. That's it. Now see the magic. If you click on first bullet point, first image we have, click on second bullet point, second image we have, click on third bullet point, third image we have, right? Now what I want, these bullet points should also be active and deactive. So simply we know the class name is active. Wherever active class we have, it will be active. So what we will do, make this class name dynamic. What will the dynamic name? Slide id equals to 0, then only we will pass this class name. That's it. Simple. Copy this, paste it in all 3 locations and change the slide id 0, 1, 2. That's it. Now see the magic. We have this one. We have first id, second id and third id. So your image is going to change, bullet point is going to change, and I believe that you all guys can make this text also dynamic with same. Like for example, copy these 3 times, right? What I want to achieve with these 3, what second bullet point will say? Second bullet point will say discover objects, identify around. So just change this. And what third point will say? Find celebrities, spot your stars. Now, what we have to do? Simply apply the condition. Cut this, and here we will simply say slide id equals to 0, then only we want to return this. Same, here we will say slide id equals to 1, then only I want to show this. And same thing we will say slide id equals to 2, then only going to return it. That's it. Simple. Now go for your application and check, is it working as same? Yes. By default, why the last id is active? Because if you can see on active, we apply 2, make it 0. Now first image is like this, second image is like this, and third bullet point is like this. So text is changing, your image is changing, and the bullet point is changing. So where is AI and it's static? Static, not dynamic. This is just a message. Like so, for example, if image is not come to you, image path is wrong, something wrong, then how it will reflect? Alert value, right? Alert value, you can say. Understand this? Okay. It says it's just image to show till now we are. Yeah. So we are saying like static dynamic. These are just images, right? We not implemented any AI thing. We not implemented any API till now, like where we are processing this image and all, right? So we did nothing till now, right? We just we created the UI. So if you open these images, you will get these are already like configured images we have, right? Next step we are going to follow is to implement this AI concept here and implement the AI API here, which will process your image and give you the response back, right? Okay, till this point, guys, everything is clear for everyone because our API, our UI design is completely ready. And even interesting thing is this UI is responsive. If you inspect, if you make it in mobile view, you will get it with this beautiful AI UI. Whatever mobile phone you are using, it will customize like this. Right? So now what happens? Again, if you click here again, image any, open, the file name is here. Till this point, I believe everything is clear for everyone. Right? No doubt, because next step, which we are going to work next 30 minutes, which is completely dedicated to API integration. The target was to till this point is to create the UI. Next thing we are going to learn how to integrate the API and how to process the images, how to send these images to the API and see the response back. So if till this point everything is clear, next we will understand like how AWS came into picture in this project, right? How we are using AWS Cloud to implement this AI concept here, and how it will be fruitful to work or to do all these functionality. Okay. Now, okay, let's jump. Next thing, what we are going to do. Okay, let's understand AWS Cloud. What we are going to do inside the AWS Cloud and how we are going to interact with this AWS Cloud, right? So what happens, guys? AWS have one amazing service, amazing, which is AWS Recognition. If you search for AWS Recognition, you will be on this first link, image recognition software, ML images, video analysis, and lot they have. If you open this, they will ask, get started with Amazon Recognition. If you click here, you should be logged in with your AWS account, right? आपका AWS का account होना चाहिए with configured. This is the name which they configured, right? They says recognition, right? This is not recognition, right? So just to make it a little bit tricky, right? And to make all of us to ask this question, like by spelling is incorrect, right? Nothing as such. So we have this AWS, even you can see on the website also, right? AWS recognition. So now you can see multiple functionalities you are getting here. Label detection, it means the all age and all these things detection. Image properties, image moderations, facial analysis, face comparison, celebrity recognition, text and images, multiple things you can do, right? Shivam, you can make your account freely. They will offer you 1 year free membership with AWS account. But the concept is they will ask you all the credit cards and all the validations, like because they know like if after 1 year you will not pay, then how they will ask you like this. So they are just asking for credit account also, but they will not detect any single rupee, right? And you will get it for 1 year free account. So you can create this free account. Now what it will happen, they have this demos label detection. Suppose for example I'm clicking on label detection. What all label detection they are going to do? Suppose you can see here we have persons, here we have multiple cars and all the things. Same thing here we have this. Suppose you want to test with your image, upload or drag and post test your image. I'm going for downloads. I have this image, maybe I have this image, right? Label detection, which is object detection. Process it, uploading the image, they will detect each and everything. Dog we have, bicycle we have, person we have, glasses we have, multiple things they will detect as much they can detect, right? Like this. So these are the things they have. Now what we can do, but the point is we can't interact with this directly through React.Js, right? We need some backend service. We need maybe Node.js, we need maybe Python, we need something else. Now, what we will do right now, what we have to do. So what we did, we already integrated all these things with our code earlier, right? And even deployed these APIs freely for everyone, right? Maybe you want to test, maybe your friend want to test, right? So what are the APIs? So I'm sharing this API URL with all of you guys. There is no authentication required. We deployed these APIs on our TechSimPlus domain. So that's why our API URL name is pythonapis.techsimplus.com, API/Amazon services. So what you are going to do this, whatever service you want to use, you will use this service and pass the data to this API. This API will call these AWS recognition APIs and give you the response back to your front-end application. The same thing we are going to implement here, because today we don't have as such of time like where we can learn to integrate with the help of AWS APIs right now, right? And to create the APIs and then integrate these APIs with our React application. So for a time being, we are just going to use this pre-developed APIs and going to interact with it, right? If you plan in future, if you all guys want to learn like how to create our own APIs to interact directly with the help of AWS service, we will plan some again free seminar or free workshop to on this and see like how we can develop our own APIs and can deploy on cloud for freely use, right? Okay. But for time being, we are going to use this API. So I shared this link to all of you guys with, so just make it, copy and paste it in your system and save it for your future use. But right now we are going to use this. So what we have to do, simply go for our React application, and very simple thing. Simplest thing is we need to call this API. So if we have to call the API from React application, we need one more extra package. This one package is Axios. And as I can understand, you guys are here till now. Definitely, it shows like till now, it shows like you know about all these things. So we have this Axios. So whenever we have to call, I want to call the API, we will use the Axios package. So what we will do, simply go for your React application, go for your terminal, clear the terminal, simply type npm install Axios. It will install Axios in your system. Now, what we want, very easiest thing is pending till now. Everything is clear. Now, we have to import the Axios first. So let's import it. Import Axios from Axios because it's installed. Okay, now, yeah, fine. Now, so we have this Axios. After that, what I want, let's create one more variable, const API URL, which URL we'll call. So we'll call this URL. So I'm just saving this here, API URL. And let's start the integrating with this API. But before integrating, we have to understand what we have to pass to call this API. This is the most important thing we have to understand. If we are aware like what we have to pass with this API, that would be easy to understand. Now we have to pass only two things. First thing is image, second thing is service type. So we already have this in values. But most important thing is whatever image you are selecting, it's not actual, it's basically actual image, but we have to process it into the base 64 image. So what we will do, simply we'll create one more function here, one more function, and the function name will be file to base 64. I want to convert this file into base 64. So we'll say file to base 64. And here what we will do, we'll simply return new promise. And this promise, most of you may be aware and all of you aware, like promise is going to take two things. One thing is resolve and second thing is reject. And what we'll do here, simply do nothing. Simply we'll say let reader equals to, I want to read the file, and you will create the object of new file reader. Here we will say new file reader. You will get this code and you can check like how to read the file simply in JavaScript. And what I want, reader dot on load, when file will load it successfully. That what I want to do on that time. I want to pass a one function, and this function will do what? This function will simply convert your data into base 64. So we'll say simply let out equals to reader dot result dot split. I want to split this by comma, and whatever output I'll get, I want 1 because I want base 64 output, right? Now next is resolve the out. That's it. This is the use of this function, nothing as such. That's simple. Now after that, what we have to do after this onload, we have to say read dot read as data URL, and what I want to read, because till now in the whole code we not fast which file we have to use, which file we have to read. So we have to simply read the file, and which is values or even not values. Do one thing, pass the file here, pass the file as argument. Why we are converting this image to base64? Naveen, reason is because the file which you have is just the address, the reference of the file, or you can say uh, the complete file, but we want to pass the data of this file, or the you can say the to send this file to the API, we have to convert it in a chunk, so you can say in a data form. So that's why we are converting the file format from actual file to base64 file. And that's a base64 file can be any file. It can be PNG, it can be image, or it can be anything else. So that's why we are converting this file from any type to the image type or to the file type. Okay. And second thing is the API which we are calling, and the AWS Cloud which we are using here. This, yeah, the same thing. This one, right? This also required base64 only. They not support any other type of files. So that's the again one more reason, like we are calling this, or we are converting this file into the base64 file. Right? Now, so we have this file base64, file to base64. Now simply do one thing. Last part is pending here, which is on submit click. Suppose, right? We are saying any function name you can pass. I'm calling this name. What we will do in this, simple, do very simple thing. We have to just simply say, let image base64 equals to, we have to convert into image into base64. So what we will do, this function should be async function. So we are saying async of this one, and here we will say await. And in this await, what we will do, we will say file to base64. This function we will call. And what you will pass in this, we will pass values dot image. So whatever file you have, you will pass it into the values dot image. Then simply we have to do what? We have to simply call the API. So what we will do, we will say let response equals to await of what? Axios dot post. And in post, what we will do? For which URL you want to post? I want to post for my API URL. So we will call API URL. And what data you want to pass? So two things I want to pass. First thing is, you can say, first thing is what we want to pass, this image and service type. So apart from passing this here, let's do one thing, one more magical thing we can do here. Here we will say, yeah, Naveen, I'll explain this. Just wait for this, how to convert trained model into API. I'll explain how we can do this. Okay, so now let's just listen this one first. So now what we are saying here, we are saying let new values equals to whatever values you have, just keep it same and just make it image into image base64. So here we'll create a new variable and pass this as it is. That's it. Now log the response. Till this point, if you can understand, everything is done now. You have to do nothing. Just simply we have to call this function. And when we have to call this function, when we click on this, see the magic button on click, call on submit click function. That's it. Now, if you go for the browser, go for your application, refresh it, inspect it, just select any file. Maybe I'm selecting this file. Which service I want to use? Object detection I want to use. Go for network tab, because here only you can check your all the API call and all. Just click on see the magic. Here we are calling this API service. Pending status done. It means it's processed your data. It's so fast. Now, if you can see, you will get the processed image URL inside the data image. And if you just copy this image, the path of the image, and paste it in your browser, you will get processed image. Can you see this? The image which you passed right now, you have the URL of this image, and you can see everything we are detecting. Dog we are detecting, the give we are detecting, helmet we are detecting, glasses we are detecting, bicycle we are detecting. Everything we are detecting, whatever it can possible. Right? So most of the things is possible to detect here. I believe this is clear. Now go for the browser, go for your application again, go for application again. Now suppose I want to detect only faces in the same image. Let's click on face detection. See the magic, right? Now when it will complete, it will give the output. Now here data we have this image, and again paste the URL. You will get only faces is detecting with emotions like male calm we have, and male calm we have, age is also detecting by this, right? So the same image is processed by 2 times, right? And even two both URLs we have. If you refresh this URL, we have this image. If you refresh this URL, we have this image. So behind the scene, we are storing the images also in our servers. So we have the URL of this image. Next thing what we have to do, simply we have to show this image to as a pop-up. So what we will do, go for your application and do one thing. Simply create one more state variable, const result image, and here we will say set result image equals to use state. By default, nothing. So we will pass blank string simply, right? And now okay. Now here, go for here. And now whatever response you are getting, simply say log it, doesn't matter. Set image. What we have to do, we have to say response. Now understand the object, what object you are getting. So inside this response, this is the response. Inside this response, you have one key data, and inside this data, you have image, right? And even this response is also the data. So what we have to do, you have to say response dot data dot image, like this. So you have to set this in this way. Now do one thing. When you save this, when you show this, what I want to do, I want to show this image somewhere in my application. This is the last concept is pending for us. I have to show this image somewhere in my application. So where we have to show? No place pending. So we will create a one pop-up. This pop-up will show for us. So how we can create the pop-up? Simply, you can use this beautiful library, React Responsive Model. So what you have to do? Simply, you have to say npm install React Responsive Model. Let me install this. I'm installing. Now, how we have to use? Simply, it says just copy and paste the CSS file in your app.js file. Okay, you are saying, so I'll do this. So I'm just pasting this. And now wherever you want to create the model, just create the model like this. So I'm importing the model here, and on the same place, I will create the model create this model. Now, I want to show this model. So what I want, okay, let's create the model. So where we will create inside the container on top of the box, because this model should be outside the box. So let's create the model. And here, what you want to do inside this model, you have to do nothing. Simply, we want to show the image, whatever image you have. I just want to show this. So what we will do, we will simply say inside this model, I will use div, and inside this div, I will use image. And inside this image, what we will pass? SRC. And in this SRC, what you will pass? You will pass the image. And where we have this image? Inside this variable result image. So here we will say curly braces of result image. Just pass class name. So class name can be result image container. That's it. Now it's asking for, right? Leave it blank. Okay, perfectly fine. Now, where we have this image and we have to apply the condition, when we have to show this model, when we have this result image. So what we will do, we will apply the condition here. When we have result image, only then show this model. And what we will do, by default, result image will be null. It means it will not there. And model will pass open equals to true. Now go for the browser, go for your application, you will get nothing. But now select the image, select any image, whatever you want. I want pass face detection, so choose face detection. See the magic? Wait for some time, model should open. And this is my model, which is opening right now for you with this beautiful image. You can customize this model a little bit more based on the requirement. Like you can see here, model with lot of content, model with animations. So if you can open the model, you will get this beautiful animation, which we implemented in our application. Right? Like this animation, right? So you can create this type of animations. It's not a big deal, right? But right now I'm not going to walk you through, right? Because it's simple thing, and I believe you all guys can do this. But this is the model which we created right now. Apart from it, you can customize a little bit more, like for example, border radius, shadow, and all the things. But apart from this, we have one more important thing which I have to guide you, which is most important than this. So let's jump to this. Okay, on close is not a function, right? So we have to pass this on close. What I want if you close this model, so I want on close, I want to say that I want to set result image to null, because when your result image will null, this model will close automatically, right? So now refresh this, choose any image, whatever image you love, like so for example this one, and I want to detect celebrities. So just click on celebrity detection and let's see, is my project is capable to detect celebrities or not. See the result, clicked on it, right? We clicked, and here we have, and it's detecting both of the amazing members, Barack Obama and Mr. Narendra Modi. Yes, I believe till this point everything is clear. So this is the API call, and this is the integration of the API and handling the response. Last important thing is pending for this project is the loader. Like for example, I'm clicking this button, I clicked, but I'm not getting any indication. I'm not getting any loader, but I want this. Like whenever we are clicking on the button, we want the beautiful loader. And when we processed the image, on that time, we will close the loader. So what we will do, very simple thing very simple thing we have to do. But before that, I just want to know to all of you, till this point, anyone have any doubt? I'll share the code. Don't worry, guys. I'll share the complete code. APIs I already shared, right? And you will get this video also. So maybe whenever you want to walk you through, you can. Okay, no problem, Chetan. Like so much thing we are doing in a day, right? So something will be captured by you, something will not, right? But whenever you walk it through the code again and understand by your own, you will get it 100%. And still, if you will not get it, just connect us. There is no problem. Sure, Kailas, you will get the GitHub code link, right? But let us complete first, right? Okay, fine. Now, last thing is loader. How we can create? Very simple. We don't have to worry about sir, how we can create the loader and all the things. Just here you have this css loaders.github.io. I'm sharing this link with all of you guys. You can make it copy. Multiple loaders you have. Whatever loader you love, you can use it in your application. So you can see multiple beautiful loaders we have. Like this beautiful loader we have, this beautiful loader we have, right? Yeah, this amazing most beautiful loader we have. So whatever loader you have, you can use it in your application, right? Right now in our application we are using this beautiful loader we have, right? Okay, so now what we are going to do, if you go for your application, if you go in the css, you will get this loader.css. So we already pasted the css here. Suppose for example you want to use different loader, so do nothing, simply go here. Suppose maybe I think you will love this also, right? Maybe I want to use this. Do nothing. Simply copy this. Copy the CSS, whatever CSS they have. Just copy. Click on copy. The whole CSS will copy it. And I'm just replacing this complete CSS. Delete this and paste the CSS. Nothing as such. Just only we need loading overlay, because these loaders are just the loaders. But if you can notice in our application, we have this beautiful background overlay also, right? So this overlay class we created separately. So what we are doing here, simply do nothing, Position flex from bottom left, top right 0. It means touch all the borders. Z index as much as top you can. And I want to make this loader center. So that's why we are saying align item center and justify item center. And background, this is the background color, right? Whatever background color you can pass, you want to pass, you can. Do nothing, simply go here in app.js. And in app.js, what we have to do, we have to create the loader. So simply we will say div, and here we will pass class. And what the class name? Class name is inside the loader.css, we have loading overlay. So just copy this class name inside the app.js file, paste this here, and inside this div, create one more div, and it can be a self-closing also, and pass loader loader. That's it. Go for your application, which you created right now. Here you have this beautiful loader which you just recently selected, right? So the magical thing is, whatever loader you love, maybe you want this loader, click here, copy this class, do nothing, go for loader.css, loader.css. Apart from this overlay, delete it and paste this one. Go for a application, you will get this beautiful loader, right? So this is, so in this way you can add multiple loaders. But now thing is, definitely you can ask me, sir, but this is default, it's loading default. But when you want to show this loader, when we are hitting the API, so how we can do this? Simply just apply one condition, if app.js, create one more variable, one state variable, which is const loading, and set loading. And what we will do, use state and by default false. Matlab means the loader is not loading. And what we will apply? We will apply the condition here to this loader. We will say when loading will be true, then only then it should reflect, otherwise not. And when, so now you can see it's not reflecting here, but when you want to make it true, when you will call the API. So here, before calling the response, just remove this response. And here just simply say set loading true. Set loading true. And here we will say set loading false. So till that point, you are calling the API, just loading true. And when you set the image, load false. That's it. Very simple. Now see the magic. And this is your complete application ready. Click on see the magic. Oh, very good. What it says, okay, fine. Reason is because we not selected any file. So what we can do in that case, we can apply the condition here. If values dot image, and we'll say if not values dot image, if you not selected any image, then what you want to do, you simply want to return. And before return, if you want to alert, so you will just say alert. You can customize this, guys, because this is UI thing. You want to generate some alert, you want to generate some pop-up, right? The same thing, Anil, we are doing here. We are adding the validation alert. And what we will do in the alert? Please select image file. That's it. Now, if you refresh the page, click on see the magic. I'm getting this alert. Please see the image file. Apart from it, you can create some pop-up. You can create some toast messages. Whatever you want, you can create. Like, for example, for our application, what we are doing, if you click, you are getting this image required message here, right? So in this way also you can create, but it's not a big deal. So I'm not going to walk you through right now for this, right? How it will be, but based on your requirement, you can customize. Now, until you are not going to select any image, it will give you the pop-up. But when you click here, choose any image. So for example, I want to choose this image. Okay, click on face detection. So just click on face detection and see the magic. Wow, we have this beautiful loader. This loader is gone when eBay successfully completed. And now you have this beautiful pop-up with this amazing, beautiful image. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this, right? Let me show you some other code also. Like, for example, let's go for Google. Okay, just give me a second. Just give me a second. Let's go here. Let me have some images. Okay, let's choose some other images, or maybe drag and drop some other images. Maybe we have this one South Indian actor. Maybe most of us love it. Allu Arjun, right? So let's see. Celebrity detection. Is my system is going to detect this person or not? Click on see the magic. Yes, it's detecting. If you zoom it, you will get the name of the particular person, right? So this is celebrity detection. For the same image, maybe it's for different image. Let's choose some different images. Emotions, right? Let's see. Is my system capable to detect emotions also? So I choose emotion.jpg. Click on face detection because inside the face detection we have emotions. Click on see the magic button. Now we have, and you will be surprised, like for every emotion, it's going to give you the output. We have this different male, different emotions. We have sad emotions. It's going to crop. Maybe we have to look into for the API why it's going to crop. Even not cropping, but it's outside the image, so it's not visible for us. Here we have happy. Here we have surprised. Here we have again happy. So multiple emotions your system is going to detect. So you can use this project to you can say show something amazing thing, show something your amazing work to maybe in your college and maybe in your company and maybe your friend. With this project which makes you or stand out something different, right? So this is the whole project. We just created a two React component. One is slider, one is main component, right? Apart from it, we are using the third-party APIs. This is basically AWS Cloud APIs. And for AWS Cloud, we are interacting with our platform, with our TechSimPlus servers. And inside this TechSimPlus servers, we are processing a lot of things, image processing, OpenCV, creating a box, putting the text, and a lot of things we are doing behind the scene and going to give you the output to show you on the front end. Yeah, so this is the whole project. Let me walk you through one more time. Then again, we have some amazing things to you. Maybe you will be happy, right? Okay, so now what we did, guys, let me explain you from scratch one more time. Maybe you will be you want to understand, right? So just wait for more 5 minutes, then we will finish our class, right? So if you can see here, this assets folder we provided you already. Go for the app.js file. In this app.js file, I'll come to the functions later. We created one container. Inside this container, we have multiple things, but majorly we created this box. And inside this box, we have two things, left box and right box. So in our application, we have left box and right box, right? And in this left box, what we have? We have this logo, we have these titles, we have these images, right? And we have these radio buttons. So these are the things we have. Okay, so now we have this. Now, apart from it, what we have inside this left box, we created this logo, titles, file drop zone. The things we covered, if you understand what things we covered today. So first thing we covered, drop zone. Second thing we cover icons, or you can say icons. Third thing we covered, model, which is most important thing we covered. And last thing we covered, API integration. These four things we focused apart from React, and state management, right? These things we covered, but these are the four things which we covered new, right? Okay. So now if you go for the project again, so here we have this file drop zone. In this file drop zone, we are just customizing this, handling the file, right? Even one more thing you can do in the file drop zone. If you want to know, I'm just explaining. It will take hardly a minute, right? So let me show you. One thing you can apply. You can apply accept. So for example, you want to accept only images. You don't want to accept other things. So what you will do, you will say accept. What you want to accept only images. But inside the images, what are the extensions you want to use? So I want to use PNG. You want to use JPG, .jpg, and what other do things? .jpeg. These three things. So the profit of this is, like, if you go for an application, if you select any GIF file, maybe HTML file, can you see this? You will not get this name here because this file not considered as your selected file. But when you select any image, you will get this selected, right? If you select any other, maybe doc file, it's gone, right? Reason is because it considered like there is no image for you, right? So this is the one most important thing. Again, you applied the limitations, right? Even one student asked this question during the class, like how we can apply the limitations here, right? So this is accept image. So these are the things we have. So here we created drop zone. On drops, when you successfully drop the image, what you want to do? I want to call the on file change function. And where this file change function is? Here in my app.js file. What we have? On file change. On file change, we are just going to change the file or change the value of this image. Same thing on service type, we are changing the value of service type. And finally, when we click on this on submit button, here we are validating like is image selected or not. If image selected, convert this image into base64 because API wants image in base64 format. And now create a new object, new values, where we have value image base64 and set loading true because we want this loader. And how we created this loader? With the help of this amazing library, which is cssloaders.github.io. So from here, you can create n number of loaders, n number of beautiful loaders. So we have created this loader, and this loader is going to show when loading is true. So this is the loader. Finally, we are saying result image. So when we are showing this result image with model, so we have this model. How we are getting this model? Again, as we discussed, we have an amazing library, React responsive model. So why it called responsive model? Let me show you one more thing. Why we say React responsive model? Because if you can go for the browser, inspect, if you go for the mobile view, your application is responsive, right? But now, if you refresh, yeah, one more thing you can notice here, the button is going to outside. Reason is because if you remember, during our class start, we change our style little bit. So go for the style.css. And what is button name? Magic button. And we change the width. So make this width 100%, whatever space we have. Now this is responsive, right? Okay. So here we have animation for text. Image is not showing here in mobile view. For desktop view, it will visual. So if you see, go here responsive, you can make it change the dimension like this. And why model is responsive? Because if you select the image, any image, if you are going to select and going to see the magic, loader will be displayed here and model will fit automatically based on your mobile phone size like this. So that's our model library name is responsive model. So these are the things, guys, we covered today. I believe you enjoyed this. If anyone have any feedback, any suggestion regarding our class, let me know.